everyone. I'm coming back with another collective read. I'm doing two today just because I learned a little bit from my first video, and I hope that I can apply those learnings to this one. I'm gonna let the first video live because why not? Like, why not let it live, you know? Again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thanks for your attention and your patience. I'm really excited to come with this second collective read. Maybe this one hits a different audience. Who knows what can happen between the first video and the second video. Ooh. A lot can happen. A lot can happen between the first video and the second video. So let's take these first three cards before we pull any more. We have the Ten of Swords, the Devil, and the World card. The Ten of Swords is in the U position. And I find this card to be one of the more difficult cards to read. King of Cups. The Magician. Let's see if one more card comes out. Knight of Swords. There we go. If anything else comes out. Nope. Not right now. We have everything that we need. Ooh, this is this is a read. So I don't know who this one is for, but it's for somebody. So the Ten of Swords denotes a person who has 10 swords in their back, lying face down, but also with the hand symbol of the benediction of blessing. So I think that's very interesting contrast that's going on here. A lot of people will see this particular card and then automatically think like, oh, betrayal from friends, from a lover, from a partner, from a job. And that's not what this card is talking about at all. Remember, the swords are air energy, the air element, and the swords represent communication, ideas, thoughts, wisdom, knowledge, intellect. And so I think there has come a point in time in which you have probably like killed yourself, your own self, with your own thoughts. This comes from the Nine of Swords, which depicts a woman in her bed at nighttime. And she is just up with anxiety, with all the thoughts that are keeping her up at night. I kind of want to show you that card just so you have the imagery. The Nine of Swords. She has literally killed herself with these thoughts. Thoughts of anxiety, thoughts of despair, all of those different types of things. And they finally got to her in the 10. But this also denotes, essentially, it doesn't get any worse than this, right? So you're at some type of theoretical rock bottom. But the beautiful thing about this card is that you don't stay at rock bottom. Joy comes in the morning. There's a song. Joy comes in the morning. Troubles, they don't last always. Right? You see that the night is giving way to the day. Joy comes in the morning. How do I say this? Once you've hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up, right? There's nowhere to go but up. This is also a very interesting pairing right here. These two cards are in the position of energies that are surrounding you. So we know what the U is. What are the energies surrounding you? So you have the Devil card right here. And this particular card is asking you to make yourself aware of the unhealthy patterns and cycles that you have present in your life at this moment. Maybe even a little bit of addiction. And when I say addiction doesn't always mean alcohol, drugs, gambling, porn. It doesn't always mean those things. We can be addicted to certain types of thoughts. We can be addicted to certain types of emotions with the King of Cups, which I think might be a thing. So this isn't necessarily just like huge stuff. We all have unhealthy patterns and unhealthy cycles that keep us chained and bounded. And so I wonder if your thoughts are some of the things that keep intrusive thoughts. Although those aren't necessarily things that we can stop, we can take those intrusive thoughts. And I remember seeing this thing on Instagram the other day, and this person was talking about thoughts and your mind, and basically the man said, you need to have a mind bouncer, basically like the bouncer at the club that decides who gets in and who gets out. You need to have a bouncer for your mind to determine which thoughts go into your mind and which ones you push out. And he was giving examples like, oh, so you said you don't like yourself or you don't think you're ugly. It goes through the bouncer, and the bouncer's like, hey, yo, you want this thought right now? You don't want this thought? You gotta go. Oh, you're thinking about joy and light? You want this thought? Okay, come on in, you're allowed in. And so I wonder if you might be addicted to particular types of thought patterns that are unhealthy and unhelpful to you. But again, joy comes in the morning. Once you get approached with the Devil card, once you know better, you do better, in theory. It's not always like that. But theoretically, as the enlightened beings that we are, once you know better, you do better. Once you are aware of these patterns and cycles, you continue through the journey. And I think it's very interesting that we have this empty space here, because it's saying we don't need to go through the entire journey. We're just going to come up to the World card. The World card is really important because it's the end of the major arcana, which the Devil card also exists within. The Devil card is 15. The World card is 21. This is the 22nd card in the major arcana because the full card is 0. So 22 cards, 15 to 21, 6 to 3. We are moving in the direction of healing. We are moving in the direction of awakening, and answering the call to our higher selves in the Judgment, which was card 20, the one right before the World. We've answered the call. We've gone through the Tower moment. The Tower is the next card after the Devil card. We've gone through the Moon. We've gone through the Sun. We've gone through all these things, and that's what's in the middle. That's what is right here, because we go straight from card to the World card. So it denotes to you that you're successful in your journey in getting, I won't say getting rid of the thoughts. I don't know if that's really a possibility, but more so getting to a place where we are not or our thoughts are not enemies to us. Rather, they are a helpful tool for us. We're not thinking those negative thoughts, those draining thoughts, things of that nature. We've gotten into this enlightened place where our thoughts are actually helping us co-create a healthier future. So I think this is beautiful. I really love what the cards that are missing is telling us. I think that's just important, just as important to the story as anything else. So you have in the journey, this is the journey right here. You have the King of Cups in reverse. The King of Cups in reverse. Well, the King of Cups upright denotes a king that is emotionally mature, that is able to take emotion and harvest it towards his benefit. Not in an emotionally manipulative way, but in a way that allows him to stay steady even when an emotional storm is present. In the reverse, this does kind of talk about a king or a person who is not necessarily emotionally mature. There may be a little bit of emotional manipulation in there. And I think emotional manipulation, when we think about the Ten of Swords, is a natural fit. Because your thoughts dictate your emotions, and your emotions dictate your actions. But as you go through the Devil to the World, you have the Magician. I think you're starting over in a way, starting over to alchemize some of these things. You do have a swords heavy reading because you have the Knight of Swords right here. Okay, nothing came out. That's fine. But here you're able to alchemize as a magician. I think you start to alchemize when you're going through this devil journey, or this part of the journey that includes the devil. All journeys include the devil, so it's not unique, it's not special. It's part of the deck for a reason. So don't get scared when you see that card. But I think you're within this journey. Remember, we talked about the cards that are not there, and going from basically the middle-ish of the deck to the end of the major arcana. You go back to the one after you continue to realize, okay, maybe my emotions and my thoughts and my emotions were not the healthiest. You start to take this information and you start to alchemize a new future for yourself. I think that is part of this in-between journey. Maybe you start back over from 1. Not necessarily 0, but 1. And then the other part of this journey is the Knight of Swords. Here, you're getting hold of your thoughts, your communication, your intellect, your wisdom. The Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in all of the court cards. So this is moving quickly. I don't think this is going to be a slow process. I don't think this is a slow process. And usually thoughts don't move slowly. Interesting. Interessante. Thoughts don't move slowly, so I think this is going to be something that you move rather quickly through. This cut twice, so we're going to do it like that. Yep. The King of Swords, you are victorious. Look at that. Look at that. You go to a point, you come from a point of where your thoughts are killing you, to learning how to wield your thoughts, to owning your thoughts. The King of Swords is the last card in the suit of swords. And I think his throne is probably the cutest throne because it's laced with butterflies. This particular king has a very unique ability to use his words. And before it even becomes words, that he has a hold of his thoughts. Here, you don't necessarily have a hold of it. Here, you're learning how to yield it. And here, you have control of it. Wowsy, wowsy, wowsy. I love this so much. Some practical thoughts or practical steps forward. Maybe get into therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy, where you'll be able to learn the process of taking hold of those thoughts and bouncing them. Remember, we talked about that emotional bouncer. Practical, if you are not able to go to therapy, don't want to go to therapy, can't afford therapy, I urge you to sit down with a journal and write down all of the negative self-beliefs that you have. Once you have identified those negative self-beliefs, write the opposite. If something you believe about yourself, I'm not good looking, I hate using the word ugly, I'm not good looking, or I don't look good, you write on the other side, no, you don't write no, but you say, I am beautiful, I am gorgeous, I am so on and so on. I am not smart, I am an intellectual, I am wise, I am knowledgeable. All of these self-deprecating thoughts, write them down in a journal and take the time to find the opposite. What are the things that you can think of when these thoughts come to your mind that are the direct opposite? Because the more we think something, the more we are something. I'll say that again, the more we think something, the more we are something. So I think it's going to be really important for you to get a hold. Yeah, definitely these two are related. 10, 15 multiples of 5 change, because right after the double card comes the Tower card, which is a card of change. So you're going to have to, before the change, you're going to have to become aware of all of your negative self-thoughts, your self-deprecating thoughts, negative thoughts. I think I already said that. Sorry. you're going to have to become aware of those things and find the opposite in order to embody this. And also really this, the World card as well. Good luck to you on your journey. Let me know in the comments what resonated for you, what made sense, what didn't make sense. Are you on this journey, and where in this journey you are? I'm really excited to hear from you. All right, best.